This episode of Super GG Radio is brought to you by our Patreon. Patrons of the show can get our Dogs of Super GG Radio newsletter, Super GG Radio stickers to slap on your closest PC or bag, input on what we cover, game nights with the hosts, and even a chance to win a copy of an indie we talked about. Not only that, but 90% of all patron contributions go to the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Visit patreon.com/superggradio to learn more. What's good, Internet, and welcome to session 216 of Super GG Radio, where friends chat about video games and all things adjacent. This week we have it all: fireworks, fan fiction, dog hair. I am your A-rank host, Alex Arona. Eric Getty Gettinger is getting an F this week. Maybe he'd be an S for sick?
Ooh.
Maybe. That sounds better.
That implies that being sick is top tier.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Okay.
Well, no, there's still SS rank.
I'm going to give him a C, because you know what they say, C's get degrees. So anyway, let's keep going here. Joel DeWitt, my B-rank co-host and illustrious man on a mission. Joel, what's going on?
I think I deserve at least like a C+. I mean, it's okay, but you know, Daddy made this list, right?
Yeah, he came up with this tier list.
All right. Daddy, I dispute this list.
I mean, either that or
it's not
viewers.
canon.
He's selling it to viewers, but I feel like that's like he's using that as like a scapegoat.
This is not canon event tier list.
I mean, I don't know. The one person who's not really going to argue with that is Alec, as he is the S rank. Let me toss it over to Alec Parks. Hey, Alec, what's going on?
Well, you know, it's what you do as the producers. You get the S ranks. You get the views, all 0 of them coming in. And you just do what you do.
You know, again, you are producing up something fine over there with the Twitch streams and the audacities and the whatnots. I like what you're doing, Alec. Keep it doing. This week, actually, it looks like that Getty is going to be gone for what looks like 3 episodes. Hopefully, we last that long.
Oh, that far?
Well, it was supposed to be 2, but now he's out 3 this week.
This might be a little touch and go with that.
Oh, no, it's going to be... Well, you know what? I'm not... Let's move forward before I start saying inappropriate things.
We're going to have a busy July. Yeah.
This week, we're going to play with our food and early adopters, watch some fireworks with the news, and then get all buddy-buddy in the Backlog Blog. But first, early adopters, where we play alphas, betas, and games that I'm pretty sure this is what Alex does for a living. He's talking about Home Safety Hotline. Home Safety Hotline is what would we classify this as, Joel? This is, hold on, let's see if we can. Does it give me a genre?
I think you've used the term work light before.
Casual indie simulation.
No, it's point and click. That's fair. It is a point and click game.
I think it's a work like. Yeah, it's probably a work like. In this work like, you are working at a home safety hotline where you will receive calls and you give them pertinent advice. The general pertinent advice has to do with different topics around the home, like how to deal with moles, ants, what is this, a house, like indoor grease fire, different stuff like that.
Carbon monoxide.
Like
little halfling type creatures that sort of sneak around in your house and clean overnight. That was an interesting one.
Well, as the game progresses, you start to see people have crazier and weirder problems, and you start to get more options that have to do with, say, lamp sprites, or what were they called? What were the things that were inside the house that would clean up your house, or something that would live in your desk, or wood that would ooze pink goo?
Yeah, I didn't.
You mean your wood doesn't do that?
I can tell you right now that it's funnier to say that as a precaution, be nice to wood. Don't yell at wood. Don't even say anything derogatory towards wood, as per the guide in Home Safety Hotline. That's what it said. They said be nice to wood before this happens.
I appreciate the aesthetic. Like it's full emulating that kind of crappy old PC that anybody who started a job in the workforce, 10 years or beyond now will understand and appreciate clearly. Like my first work PC was more or less that. And the way they have you, when you start the game, it just actually shows the computer screen. You double click the icon for the work like you would a computer. It gives you that boxy interface that removes that level of interactivity, and that's where you get to only being pointing and clicking, because it's this hotline program. It's feeding those calls into it, and you're really listening to some customers who do not know how to request what they're requesting.
I did find it a little bit funnier because some of these things, they ask you questions, but there isn't a response appropriate. Because the answer is always give them information on one of the topics you have. But that's not always possible. So sometimes you got to give them the best that you can, and usually they call back super duper angry at you.
Yeah, at least in the piece we got, there were a few where I had no clue what the right one was. And you can put them on hold and take a minute to actually scroll through the different options, read the descriptions. Some of the animals will actually have audio clues as to what they sound like.
Because one lady gave you what she thought was something in her attic and then gave you the sound.
Right, and then it sounded like mice, so I chose mice, and I didn't hear back from her. There are also these weird erratic calls, like estranged people saying cryptic things and then hanging up on you.
Like really crazy giggling in a horrifying way.
Right. So it's giving a little bit of that kind of mystery you're going towards. That kind of like mystery suspense thing is what had to be backed in a game like this, I think, to keep it compelling. And I think that this is too stressful for me.
Really?
My first job was a customer service rep position, and I had some sincere hesitation of playing this when I started it up, and it went straight to the buzzing phone line and the beeping light. Just brought a like twinge of anxiety from when I first started doing that. But I think that probably is to its credit that it affected me that way. So, very well made game from what we've seen so far. It'll probably be on my radar for when it comes out. I hope it's a short game, if that's what it is.
Yeah, I can't imagine it really like outstaying its welcome and being super lengthy. But I do love that. Yeah, just a slight hint at horror, and not even like a real horror, but like an existential, like, oh, we don't know the creatures of this world. Like the creatures that would clean your house, they had like slits for faces, and the thing kept saying they don't have fake faces. And I was like, is there things that have fake faces? Like, why does it keep telling me that? Like 3 different parts of their description, it's like, but by the way, they don't have fake faces. It's like, what? This is creepy. And then people would call and their voices would be distorted and they just start, laughing like a maniac. And I'm like, give me the willies.
And it did so great little pop-up for the call with a profile of the person's face. It's very like Colonel from Metal Gear Solid, right? It shows up the box, shows their face. Their face will move a little bit with the words that they're saying. It'll just get distorted and cut off in some of those like really melt. Crazy moments.
Yeah, like melt. It's like, oh no, this is uncomfortable in a whole lot of spaces.
Yep. Yeah. So really, really solid presentation. I'll be on the lookout for this, but...
This has definitely been wishlisted on me because I don't like outright horror, but I definitely like just like the hints of it that really make you uncomfortable. And this one was definitely one of those that kept me on the edge of my seat. Alec, did you get a chance to play this one or no?
I did not. I'm looking forward to the Prime days because I'm going to buy a new hard drive and install Windows.
Whoa!
Wow.
I know.
Big news.
Abandoning Linux. Man.
No, not abandoning
You're
it.
jumping ship. You've taken your Linux tattoo of the penguin and you took a cheese grater to it. That is bananas, Alec.
Hey, look, it was a disc sander, not a cheese grater.
Okay. I mean, that's better. I mean, I saw Evil Dead Rise. It was disgusting.
Yeah, no.
Did you see that? Did you?
I saw the trailer, and I have enough horror dreams about cheese graters and tattoos. No,
To the calf,
no.
Joel. To the calf. Details. Details. Let's move on.
So avoid Evil Dead. Got it. All right.
I mean, Evil Dead Rises. It was good, but I mean, cheese graters and everything like that. You just don't want to play with your food. But when we want to play with our food. Nour. Play with your food. That's the title of this game. Nour. Nour. Play with your food. This is an interactive experience, I would say.
I think the question mark is well deserved.
So
game.
Nour, Play with Your Food is an interactive playground where you will hear like mellowy techno, like just some kind of cool chill beats, and you will be given a food item, and the idea is you interact with it to the beat. And that's kind of it. The demo kind of starts off with you having popcorn seeds thrown around the screen, and you click on them and they pop. And again, if you click on them and they pop to the beat of the music, you get bonus points. You can change what direction they come from, how they pop, with slow-mo pop. All these different ways to interact with how the popcorn pops. And looking at some of the other footage, there are toasters with where you can pop the toast, burn the toast, set fire to the toast, all to the beat of the music.
Have the toaster explode. Can't forget that.
I'm watching a toaster melt right now, so I can only imagine. There are highly detailed bowls of ramen, straws in boba tea. All of it just falling through gravity for you to interact with to the rhythm of the music. And it's kind of wild that this thing kind of exists. Joel, hit me with some thoughts.
This game is 90% audio-visual. And by that I mean...
that's what video games are.
I'm not sure if I agree with that ratio,
Okay.
but in this I mean that the sounds themselves are such crisp sounding noises, and that when you actually clank things together, so you're grinding things in a meat grinder, you'll actually hear that sort of whizzing sound you would when you're cranking the meat grinder. And the same thing would happen with the I think it was making eggs or something like that. All the noises are the right kind of corresponding sounds to what the actions you're taking, and it is nice and clear and crisp, like they got just that sound in a room. Couple that against the backdrops, the food itself, like you mentioned, it's not photorealistic, but it's very nice looking food, and the kind of stuff that it's even fun to kind of play around with. You can get utensils, you can just grab stuff, and I was pulling ramen noodles out of that ramen bowl for a good 15-20 seconds just to see it go crazy. But it's all very clever. It is more of a, like you said, interactive food playground, and it's unique, or at least it's unique to what I've seen before.
I can imagine this being an art piece, like you watch like a YouTube video of someone saying, "This is my art," and it's just chill beats playing while they're sloshing around in a bowl of ramen. And I would say, okay, I could see this being, or even just going to an exhibit and watching a person in a tub full of ramen noodles just squishing around and being like, well, art is subjective.
I'm even thinking some of those nicer malls have kiosks where it'll be some sort of interactive game while you're in the middle of the mall somewhere. Some of it's the stuff they project on a tile floor. Then there's stuff with a big screen. And things like how you can do, what's that, Fruit Ninja game,
oh, yeah.
where you'd swipe against that. I could see that in a big screen like this. Maybe not someplace as loud as Dave & Buster's, but it's definitely, it's visual flair that would get people's attention.
There is in our art museum an art exhibit that is just a pile of wrapped bubblegum. Mm-hmm. And the idea
Really?
is that you interact with it. You take a piece of gum, and each day they put more gum out there, but essentially the way and composition, the way it is piled, changes every day depending on how people interact with it, and that's the art piece. So that kind of reminds me of this. Is like, oh yeah, throughout the day it changes because people are just coming in and taking a piece of gum. And that's kind of a cool idea. And in this, just throw in some chill beats to it, give it a little bit of rhythm action, and we got Nour, play with your food.
Mm-hmm. Now it does look like from the trailer that there are special features for if you get it on the PS5. Like you can actually blow into the PS5 controller and have it interact with it as well.
The controllers are pretty cool. I was playing Final Fantasy 16 and my dog was huffing and puffing in the controller speaker. It's pretty cool. I'm talking about my in-game dog, not my real dog.
Mm.
So I can imagine
you might want to wipe down that controller either way.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I can imagine this being very cool to that extent with playing with your food. But I can already tell you that we have made quite a mess with getting Nut around. We are big grubby monsters, and I think that we should probably take a break to clean this up. You guys good with that?
Yep.
All right.
Let's get cleaning.
Be right back. We got some news. Some interesting ones are some Xbox Microsoft collabs. Specifically, Barbie Dreamhouse Xbox Series S. It's a Series S with a full kit of a Barbie Dreamhouse surrounding it. And dang, this thing looks pretty cool, guys.
I think it speaks to how the market has changed. That they're making something like this and they intend to have it sell out. Like whether they think the market has more women in it now, or just that they know that collectors and enthusiasts will gobble this up. It's a neat thing, and it looks very much like something a little girl would want.
Wasn't there a report recently that they found that a lot of gamers are women now, like more than there ever has been?
I want to say the one that I saw had it slightly more
than men,
women.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
But it's an even split about.
And that's important to note because, all these games, they used to be just so heavily masculine, and now we're getting there is a whole other demographic that we can make money on.
I think that's part of why you see the resurgence of the farm sim or the life sim as well,
or the cozy game, right?
Or the cozy games, right? Because it's, if you're like my wife, you don't want something overly complicated. You want something that you can dip in, do your time, have some fun, and be able to jump back out. And those kind of experiences suit that well.
Yeah, I think that it's good that we have games for everybody, and that includes this Barbie Dreamhouse Xbox, which I'm also just like hovering over the add to cart button because I'm like, this thing looks cool. It's a cool color. Like, what if I had just like an Xbox that I would play games on, and then my daughter would have dolls on, and it would just work together like that, where it would be like a double purpose, a multi-purpose like Xbox.
just tell everybody who asked about it that it's a Roku box.
I'm okay with saying it's an Xbox. I'm okay with that. I like hot pink's cool. Getty's PlayStation 5 controller, I believe, is a hot pink. That's his color. So I'm into this. This looks cool. It comes with controllers that are also hot pink and look kind of hot. I'm kind of into all of this. But also, Xbox is also collaborating with OPI Nail Polish for a custom controller that looks like a real nice coral orange with a light like teal blue on the back, hot lime green triggers, all the colors. Also, this looks real pretty, guys. I'm having a real hard time with the fact that I currently have 5 Xbox controllers, and I'm just like hovering over like multiple other Xbox controllers, being like, I should probably just get this because this looks really cool.
Now, Microsoft also has a website where you can custom design your own, right?
Yes, but it's hard. But I don't think you can get the gradients that some of these are looking like.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm with you. There's definitely a cool set of controllers out there. There was another one recently too that I saw, but when you've got 4 controllers and when you're lucky you've got 3 people to play with.
The one I've been looking at also is let me see if I can find that one. There's this is another pretty one in the dock here. This is, I believe, the Stellar or Galaxy one, I believe. Let me see if I can find that one. Oh, I just deleted that. That's fine. I'm gonna put it right here.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was
a pretty
one.
one.
That was one of them that
That's
I saw.
like a purple
That's
to
slick.
blue gradient that looks like a galaxy. Ooh. Again, hovering over a lot of buttons. Joel, when is Kelly getting her own Xbox controller?
She doesn't need her own Xbox controller.
Why not? This
Hers
API
is-
one looks sick.
Hers is the white one
I'll send her a link for this.
because she's least likely to spill stuff on the controller. So
All right, next piece of news. This was supposed to be for Getty to read, but now it's my job, so I'm going to put this in here. Game release. Manu, defeat monsters and gain strong weapons and armor. You may be defeated, but don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day when the heroes defeat the Devil King. Has a release date of September 21st.
I love that this is an actual game title.
that is the full game title.
Yep.
I saw Alex sent us an image of the box. All that's on the box.
All right.
So keep an eye out. Put it on your wish list for Manu. Defeat monsters and gain strong weapon and armor. You may be defeated, but don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day when the heroes defeat the Devil King.
Wait, now, Alec, now you read it.
Manu, defeat the monsters and gain strong weapons and armor. You may be defeated, but don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day when the heroes defeat the Devil King.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. Joel, just for continuity, hit us with it.
Oh, no, I closed the window. Sorry.
Oh, you jerk.
All right, let's see. Manu, defeat monsters and gain strong weapons and armor. You may be defeated, but don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day when the heroes defeat the Devil King. I don't like the punctuation there.
It's tough.
That's not helpful.
Next piece of news. Ex-Nintendo designer says no new F-Zero due to Mario Kart, low sales, and high costs. But just to kind of combine this one with another piece of news, also Banjo-Kazooie ex-devs unsure there's an audience for a new game. It kind of shows that right now the market is a little skittish. People are worried about where their games are land, especially these B-tier games. Be happy I called it a B tier and not a C tier. These B-tier games.
Are you talking about F-Zero or Banjo-Kazooie?
Both.
Oh, how dare you. Them's fighting words.
I think we're sitting in an F-tier timeline right now.
What it comes down to, though, is that a lot of the B-tier games have fallen away, right? Like, that's been the thing for a while. Like, it's hard to get a B-tier game off the ground that makes, minimum amount of money. They don't find a benefit in that. They think the time is not effective.
It's, Josh, it's called opportunity cost. I didn't think this is the term for, we have X amount of resources, we have all these things that would work, but which one will work the best?
Yeah.
It's all kind of victim to that. I think that, sorry Banjo-Kazooie, I think F-Zero has more of a following at this point, or at least more of a vocal following for a new game. And
I disagree on that heavily. No, the reason why is with...
You can say that.
No,
I'll take your word for it.
With Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the comparison I heard from the jump was Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. That's what I was.
Never played Banjo-Kazooie.
But that game is wholly different from the 3D platformer collectathon thing, though, right?
Yes, but I'm saying is that so is Tears of the Kingdom from what it originally started, from the Zelda started as. You can find a way. Life finds a way, Joel. But not the point. The point is, I agree with you that there's a lot of it's hard to find an audience, or at least try to convince a developer that there is that you need to do this.
The sickening thing for me is that Nintendo is in one of their peak areas, right? They're in a they're in a position where they can afford to take chances, and they get awfully conservative in some ways once they're up like this. And so, I don't know, maybe it'll be the Switch 2 when it's floundering. They'll throw F-Zero fans a bone just to get the tired, sick dog to come back for one more ride. I don't know. But don't listen to this guy. He knows nothing. F-Zero's on the way.
I will say that you can make a good Banjo-Kazooie collectathon with minimal amount of money if you make it retro. If you look at, there are a lot of games now that are coming out like on the back end that are just these little retro platformer, like they look like they're N64 level graphics. What was it called? The Super Kiwi 64. It's like a 2-hour game. It cost like $8, and it was just a collectathon of these 3D levels that looks like it's all super N64 level graphics. And I bought it, I played it, had a great time. So I think that like if you were to say make a Banjo-Kazooie throwback instead of making it like Banjo-Kazooie modern times, let's make them super high definition. Let's make it so you can see the fur. And it's like, I don't think you need to do that. Just make it fun, you know. Make it the throwback and then make it cheap. Guarantee it'll still be good. No, there's no saving F-Zero. Next piece of news. One interesting piece of news from the Microsoft acquisition trial that was going on is that the PS5 Slim is coming soon, based on Xbox documentation. Joel, you already got your PS5, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I know the answer for you. You're out on this. You're not going to get a PS5 Slim.
No. I am on a thread with
Yes.
Sony right now as it is. So,
but the
no.
question for me is like, because that thing is such a beefy boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it'll get better. Is there a benefit outside of just like size and form factor?
I think if they release a mini, I want it to be in the exact shape as the PS5 right now.
Oh,
just like one of those Super NES mini cases. I just want it to be like that little compact thing, just enough space to put a disc tray in it.
I like that. That's a pretty funny idea, which also made me think about like, oh great, and like you've just put it out into the ether that when we're like in our 70s, there will be a PS5 Classic, and we'll buy it.
I mean, it's gonna have that.
Gonna play that old retro game, Final Fantasy 16.
Astrobot. I'd buy it for an Astrobot pack-in. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it was packed in already, Joel.
Okay, in the mini, have a double packed in.
Yeah, it would have to come with it. No questions. I agree. Next piece of news. This one was also forgetting me, but, you know, it's okay. Persona 6 in current development and to be announced next year. This is all based on rumors, so this is not official news, but there is evidence that it's looking like a whole new turning point in the series, as the dev team is also just wholly new. They have recycled the dev team, and right now the developers of Persona 3 Reloaded are also working on Persona 6, and they are new to Atlas, so they are kind of starting from a scratch baseline. They're just starting from flat.
What's one thing you hope they change in the series then?
I would like less than a 2.5-hour introduction. Most
Fair.
Persona games take roughly like 2 hours to get to before you start really like doing stuff.
Fair.
Yeah, I didn't get past that in 4.
Yep, this is the way it is. I mean, Persona 3 is probably the coolest one just because it's got like cool hit music and all this real gory stuff happening around you while your character's just like a hipster kid wearing headphones, listening to his beats, and he doesn't acknowledge, he's not paying attention. So from like the train station to the place that he's staying, there's just like caskets and blood pools everywhere, and he's just not paying attention. He's just nodding his head to the beat and like zoning out. And then he gets somewhere and he's like, "Wait, what happened?"
I feel like that's every day of my life.
Put the headphones on, you zone out, my friend.
Yep.
Last piece of news: Nick Cage voice lines have been revealed for Dead by Daylight, and they are bonkers. They are super unhinged, in very much a way that is an awesome thing for Nick Cage. Just hear him yelling, "Yeah!" Nick Cage.
Yeah, this is definitely carrying a different persona than what his normal cadence used to be. Like it seems like after he had that down, like it was him owing back taxes.
Yeah,
that put him to a position of having to take any and every role to pay them off. Ever since he's gone through that strain and come back out into the public eye, it's been kind of fascinating seeing the kind of spectacle he's put on.
Yeah, the tricky part is that he's been grabbing, though, and really, like, he's making the best out of every role. And I think that's what's, like, really cool about him. And they said that the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, I think it was one that he said was, like, the first one that got him back into black.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, he was real bad with a lot of stuff, including real estate in New Orleans, which was very bad during Katrina.
Ooh. Yeah.
Also, there's talk of that's why he has the pyramid in New Orleans as that's where he will get buried when he dies. Is roughly because if he puts all his money into it, then they can't tax him.
That's a sound reason there.
That's why they call it a tax shelter.
That feels a little too literal.
I mean, that's the rumor. There's a lot of like weird, tricky stuff around Hollywood that I've kind of seen regarding Nicolas Cage. They did that Five Nights at Freddy's like ripoff, Willy's Wonderland.
Yes.
And one of the things about it is that he has no voice lines. And one of the words about that is also because they said that way he doesn't have to pay like SAG fees.
Yeah, there are different rules if the actor talks, and they have different fees based off of lines said, number of lines, or even speaking at all.
Yep. So he's in that movie completely silent. Which, to my brother's point, he has told me that it's actually it's a weird one, but it's still a pretty cool movie. So I'll be checking that out. Willy's Wonder World. But for now, Freebies. Come on, Joel.
F word.
That's a swear. Now you got to play
No,
the
freebies. Freebies.
There we go.
Freebies.
That's
First freebie is Grime. Grime is a fast, unforgiving action-adventure RPG in which you crush your foes with living weapons that mutate, form, and function, and then consume their remains with a black hole to strengthen your vessel as you break apart a world of anatomical intrigue. I don't know what a lot of that means. It looks like it's a real gross, like, wet world of living creatures, and you are murdering them with weapons, but also looks to be a Metroidvania, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
I already gathered it. I grabbed that one. Next one, Phantom of Zana on Steam. Swing, dash, and slide and slice your way through this retro-style 2D side-scrolling platformer. Blast, hack, and slash your opponents, or bounce off their heads. This is like one of the things that they're advertising is that it's like they have a picture of this game with a SNES cartridge, so you can tell what type of game they're trying to inspire.
Wow.
Last one is Contenders Arena. This is a beta that is open. All you have to do is hit the request access button on Steam. Contenders Arena is a third-person battle royale shooter, 3v3. Sorry, not battle royale, 3v3. But let me tell you, you are wall riding and grinding rails. So if you want to be a robot shooting lasers out of your hands at your enemies while grinding rails and ledges and doing sick wall rides, Contenders Arena. Now, let me tell you guys, I have this problem where I need to keep on playing the stages until I hit that high score. So we gotta do it again. I didn't hit could go a little higher on that flagpole.
How many tokens do you have left?
7. But each 7 is 3 lives, which is 21. 21 tries.
I don't like this math.
Let's go. We'll be right back. back with the Backlog Blog, where we play games, but never for fun. Getty thinks that I don't play games for fun.
Sometimes you don't.
What game have I played that's not been for fun?
The Lion King?
That was a punishment put on by you guys.
It still counts.
I don't know.
You
if that
technically
counts.
still played the game. It wasn't for fun. It
You
was
know what I
obligated.
did? You know what I did play for fun, Joel?
Probably Birth.
Birth. I played Birth. Birth is a adventure puzzle game about constructing a creature from spare bones and organs. It's a point-and-click find objects and puzzler. Your character is it seems like everybody in the world is a person, but their heads are giant skulls, like real weird vulture skulls, with like big gaping hollow eye sockets. But like sometimes they have nice hair over the eyes, over the like the skull. It's really creepy. It's a really like morose. What is the word like?
Macabre.
Yeah,
Macabre.
it's a
I don't know
macabre.
how do you
like
pronounce that, but
no, that's exactly what I was looking for. Is macabre.
okay.
Yeah, it's just this like it's a cool like everyone like I go to this like this person's like I have it's my little coffee shop, and you're like oh sweet, but it's like also you're just like a vulture skull head, like lady but you have like a little apron. And she's like cleaning up and giving you lattes. It's pretty cool, and so you'll go to the coffee shop and it'll be a big like bookshelf in front of you. And you'll see a thing of flowers. If you click on the flowers, it'll start a puzzle that if you solve the puzzle will give you a key. And then zoom back out to the bookshelf, there'll be a chest. You put your key in, and then you get like an organ or a bone. And each of the different places in town you will visit, and you're solving these little puzzles to collect organs and bones to where you can make a partner. You're a little lonely.
So
This is dark.
these puzzles, is it? Some of them actually looked like. There's one that looks like Operation.
Yep.
With the
They
dead
run the
fish.
gamut, man. Sometimes it's like, twisty slot puzzles where you gotta. What are those things where it's like, it's a full puzzle, but there's one open hole and you have to slide it across.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's those.
Missing number puzzles.
What are they called?
Missing number or something like that, yeah.
Missing number. That's the thing where you slide the puzzle piece across into that gaping spot. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sometimes it's actually a puzzle with jigsaw pieces. Sometimes it's just like balls will be dropping and you have to send them in a different direction to like pachinko, just different stuff here and there. It's very kind of random. They're all over these different types of games, but each one will reward you with the thing to the next step. And you're going through your town. Each building has like 6 puzzles, and by solving your 6 puzzles, you get a piece of organ or bone. And that's kind of what you're doing in this nice little town. It's it's just really like pleasant. I know it seems like a real dark game, but it's honestly just real relaxing. I played this like that was one of the things on the way home from LA when we were at Summer Game Fest. Was just like listen to this calm, soothing music and then just like play this really like weird, grim game. Just like, I'm on my Steam Deck and I'm just like moving around and collecting bones and solving little quirky puzzles that none of it is too hard. It's like a little bit like, what is this? And it took me like 4 tries and I'm like, okay, nice. That took like 5 minutes to solve one puzzle. Easy. Okay. It feels good. I like a good, just feel good, makes you feel a little smart, makes things go by fast. And just generally, this real grim art style is really what sold me on it. Seeing all the characters like as these skulls, I'm like, what is this? And then it's just like the most mundane thing ever, where it's just the skull and everyone's like creepy, but the world is absolutely just normal. You're just going up and down the street and saying hi to your neighbors. Is like it's super funny. It's a really good juxtaposition. It hits kind of hard on it, and I like that.
So it plays sort of the slice of life type storytelling, just in this strange world.
Yes.
Okay.
And even that is like very minimal storytelling. Your character is just like, I want to build a partner, and I need these things, and then you just like go. There's like really nothing else to do about it. And I really enjoyed my time with it. I think that it's like a very fun, short time game that does what it needs to do, which is just it keeps me feeling like I'm kind of smart, and it doesn't give me the willies, but at the same time I'm just like this feels like a little cool, edgy Tim Burton-esque. When it was cool, when Tim Burton wasn't too much. Because now he's just too much.
What reached the threshold of too much? Where was that dividing line in his career?
Well, let's see. I mean, I like Sweeney Todd, but I feel like when it was like the 17th movie with Johnny Depp, it was like, yeah, let's just...
Was Big Fish before or after that?
He was still good then, but I think that Big Fish was possibly the last good one.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one.
Didn't he do, what's it called, the Willy Wonka?
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think he was involved in Alice in Wonderland. Does that sound right?
Yep.
That does sound right. It's also with Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, you could just take a breather on that, man. Take a powder. Anyways, that was Birth. And now that we're getting all buddy-buddy talking about our backlog, Joel, you played Buddy Simulator 1984. What the heck is this?
So,
Googling.
I've had plenty of times where I've seen a Humble Bundle or this thing is for charity. Here's 100 games for $20 donation type stuff. And even if you don't want all the games, you might just sort of collect it because it's cheap anyway and it's supporting a good cause. And I'm pretty sure Buddy Simulator came from one of those.
Okay.
So in Buddy Simulator, you are a person playing what looks like an old Apple computer. Everything starts off very text-based, so it's almost like a DOS screen.
I'm seeing only black and white.
Right. And it starts as that kind of prompt. You have to write out the actual command in order to do things. And the computer is sentient, or at least it projects itself as being sentient. And so as you're inputting these commands, you start receiving messages from the computer, and it even has you give the computer a name, has you identify yourself with the name, and even says, okay, you have a dog, what's the dog's name? And so it starts off flat like that, and the computer says, okay, well, I think we're going to be the best for friends. How about I make a game for you?
Ooh.
And the computer makes a game, and it is a text-based adventure game. I do not have that much experience with text-based adventure games. I think playing Fraud Fractions might have been one of my first real times that I've played a text-based adventure game.
Me too.
So, Alec, you can correct me if you've had experience in it, but it's very limiting because you have to have specific things identified in the backdrop of what's in the scene. You also have to keep a reminder of yourself what inventory things you have collected, and then you also have to make sure that you are investigating spots and viewing the rooms and making sure that you can find a logic point to connect A part to B section. And the other problem is that it's not always going to make sense. Like the connect the dot from the tool or the key to the puzzle item. It can sometimes be kind of obscure and obtuse. So I had a few times where I ran into that, but nothing sincerely challenging. The writing so far, or the writing throughout, has been very clever and kind of funny. It's trying to go for the almost like mysterious or unnerving. It doesn't quite hit that far for me, but it gives enough of the mood to where I enjoyed it. And the story just continues to progress where once the computer sees that you have beaten one of its adventures, it will then go on and say, okay, hold on. And then what it did next was it turned it into a 2D adventure game instead of just a text-based adventure game. So it went from text-based to almost being like The Legend of Zelda, where you're actually just walking to different townsfolk, solving quests, which a lot of quests in this case were basically, hey, I need this from the barkeep. Can you go get this from the barkeep? And then go back and forth, and that's like the quest being solved. But
Okay.
it's
Gotta love fetch quests.
but the fun part is that it all kind of works within context of its storytelling, because this computer is just starting to make games. The computers building as they go, and you can see like we're just staying on the train tracks of what you're trying to make it a game of. So it's almost like it's slowly learning, and it can't keep up with to the point where you see certain parts, it'll start glitching out. And if you like touch a glitch point, it might take you into this like separate hallway, and if you're walking away from where the computer wants you to go, it might start saying to you, hey, stop, where are you going, don't touch that. And the game booted me twice.
Nice.
From the game itself.
I love when games do that, where they're like just so mad at you, like, nope, get out, done.
Yeah, it was one of those really cool error message moments. It's like, okay, I've seen this before, but I love it every time it happens. It's just a cool trick to play.
What are you playing this on?
PC.
Okay, and then, so it booted you to desktop, correct?
Yes.
Does the computer end up being sinister?
Yes, and I mean, yeah, it's more of like a tragic antagonist kind of thing. It gets into the obsessive of like, you're my friend, right? And you know I'd do anything for you, right? And promise me, like, things like promise me, never leave, never lie to me, stuff like that. And it eats it in intermittently throughout the entire game, so it never becomes like a bit shocked about where it's going. But I'm sure it'd be effective for those who haven't had much experience with this kind of media. But I really enjoyed the experience for what it was. The third act, you did a full-on RPG, like a turn-based RPG.
Oh, that's cool.
And your attacks are to gain friendships rather than actually hurt or kill anything. So in between the different rounds, they'll be saying insults, and then as you hit them, it'll become more like, why are you being mean to me kind of things. And then once they get defeated, they don't die. They say something like, oh, thanks, I've seen the light, and now I understand how to be a better friend, thanks, and then walk off and stuff. So it's all this really upfront, like, happy-go-lucky kind of stuff with, like you said, like a tiny bit of dark undertones throughout it. But
oh, cool.
Yeah, it
sounds like it does a good job where it doesn't actually, like, it doesn't hit the horror, but definitely hits a little bit like of the creepy.
Yes. Yep, and it's not very long. I think I completed in about 4 hours roughly, but I think it helps this game because it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like even the most basic stuff, it was there just long enough to where you felt like you got your fill of that and were ready to move on.
Awesome.
What was the best achievement you got in this game?
Oh gosh, it was. You're gonna make me look this up now because I've got to find out.
What is it? Is there good achievements in it?
I mean, there are a couple funny ones. So,
especially probably pertaining to the glitches, I would imagine.
There's actually, it only looks like one that's pertaining to the glitch.
All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What do we got, Joel?
Oh, here we go. Need a hand? Find the severed hand while fishing early.
Well, that's not creepy at all.
Let's see. How about this? A new bard. Help Brok find the perfect bard to mentor.
Who's Brok?
You don't want to know.
I should probably play Buddy Simulator.
Yeah.
So
Joel,
no, would you recommend this one?
Yeah, it is one of those short and sweet experiences. And if you are patient enough to learn some of the text-based adventure game conventions, it'll grow on you and you'll be able to step level it pretty easy. I'd be curious, like a younger person, how well they would handle that, just because of how archaic that gameplay style is now. Like, I wonder how that translates to younger people.
It is on sale 60% off by Not a Sailor Studios. It actually looks to be their first game. So, I would, you should go out and check it out. Especially, again, 60% off. Birth is only 20% off. But both great games. Okay, so that is good on the Backlog blog. And now we move on to One Last Thing. One last thing is one last statement, one last sentence, sending us into the weekend and you, the listener, into the weekday.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wasn't Joel assigning homework?
Joel's assigning homework!
I think the whole point was because we wanted to get this out before the end of the Steam sale, right?
You're absolutely correct. Holy crap. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm going to retract that intro. I will do the intro again in a minute. Joel, video game homework. Hit me. I'm going to write this down. Video game homework. Oh, we got it here. Assignment. Joel, give us the intro and hit us with that hot video game assignment. I have my Steam open and ready to purchase.
All right. So I think the last couple times I've assigned video game homework, it was either a little bit too on the silly side or at least a little bit too unrealistic expectations to get far and beat a game. So I tried to scale back this time towards an indie. I felt like it'd be good to hit some indies because there's plenty of gaps in my work experience for that, and I'm hoping this one also is something you two haven't done too much of getting to.
Wait, your assignments have been relatively good. I think all of our homework assignments have been on par. They were just a little long, right? What was the last one?
Mm-hmm. Last one was Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then before that, you had that strategy game on the 3DS.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome too.
But I like exploring some of the smaller stuff that... There's a lot of good games that come out, guys, and there's not that much time to play them. So here's one that I thought of out of a short list, about 3 or 4. Our next video game homework is Subnautica.
Wow. Okay. Do I own that already?
That would be a great thing to check, because I think at some point they might have given it away on Epic.
Oh, good call.
Bad comes to worse, it is on sale right now for $10 roughly.
And it's VR supported.
And
I've heard it makes you real sick. I've browsed the forums on the weird VR like mod stuff, and that one I heard makes you sick. All right, so Joel, you picked Subnautica because you're looking for an indie that's a little bit more on the exploratory side. From my understanding, Subnautica's a little bit on the trickier side because isn't it like 30 hours?
So my expectation wouldn't be that we have to beat it. It would be that we try to play enough to where we can get a flavor of the spectrum of what's in the game.
I don't think that's fair, Joel. Give us a timer.
How about
6 hours?
How many hours? Oh, like how many hours we need to play?
Yeah, 6 hours, 10 hours. What you thinking?
I think 6 is adequate.
6?
Yeah. Minimum required rating.
6 hours of Subnautica for us to get a good flavor of what it entails and what to expect. I hear it's got some real good being like some horror moments without being horrifying. I'm already texting Getty now. If he's not already watching, Alec, is he watching?
Maybe?
If he has not messaged, then he is not watching.
Oh, okay.
Texting him now. Subnautica. Done. Now, it is time for... So all you listeners out there, if you want to play along with us, go ahead and pick up Subnautica on Steam or whatever platform you'd like. Currently 67% off on Steam, $9.89 American. Now moving on to... Wait, what? I keep jumping in backwards and forward. Joel, what do you think? 3-4 weeks?
Let's go for first week of August.
Okay. Hopefully Getty will be back by then.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to One Last Thing. One Last Thing is where we give one last sentence, one last statement, sending us into the weekend and you, the listener, into the weekday. For me, I am taking some time to knock out a couple of indies on my backlog, a couple of short time indies. because I am really enjoying Final Fantasy 16, but I was getting a little burnt out on it for a second. So I played like 3-4 hours in a row, and I was like, this is pretty good, but now I need to take a step back, take a breather, and come back. Because anything that's better than The Lion King for Sega Genesis, man, that game is trash. Joel?
You're just crapping all over somebody's fond memories with that statement.
I don't think anyone had fond memories of that game. Joel?
I rolled credits on Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
That's all I really wanted to say. I think I'll share my overall thoughts at a later date, but 7.5 out of 10.
Brutal.
It got 0.5 thanks to the ending battle. The Ganondorf fight is pretty good.
What? So it was even lower at one point.
Pre-final confrontation, yeah, 7.
Wow.
Ooh.
Alec, your one last thing.
I have not been playing new games. I've somehow gotten sucked into Super Mario RPG, and I plan to wrap that up this weekend.
Sick. That's a good one. You've been grinding away on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see all of a sudden pop up on my Steam. Alec is playing Retro Arch, and I'm like, it's not what he's playing.
It's totally what I'm playing. It's just not what I'm playing. It's not specific.
And that will be it for this week's Super GG Radio. Before we go, you can find us on Twitter at Super GG Radio and twitch.tv/Super GG Radio, where Thursdays are our podcast, where we'll be recording our podcast live. Possibly not next week. Alec, you are out. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wait, so not next week. But for most Thursdays, we are recording a live podcast on our Twitch channel. Wednesdays, Joel is disco dancing his way towards the ending of Disco Elysium in being the bad guy.
Is that right? Am I really not far from the end?
I'd say probably like 3 hours, max.
Sweet. All right, great.
Saturdays, Joel and Kelly attempt to escape the Escape Academy. That's installed on my PS5. I want to get back into that game.
I think we're about done, actually, with that, too. We'll see. I think we might wrap this week.
Roll the credits on that bad boy and start planning for future streams. Mondays, I am back in my backlog blog, still kind of tinkering around with what I want to get to, but I'm probably going to, if I don't have any ideas of what I want to play to next, I am hacking the world. Hack the planet, hack drone July 4th presentations. With Watch Dogs Legion. Joel, you get that reference, right?
What was that?
Didn't you send me the TikTok about the drone the drone festival when it turned into something different?
Yes, I did.
Hacked Planet, Joel. Tuesdays, I am also Skater XL and chilling to some dope beats, having a good time, relaxing, hanging out with the crew, hanging out online, talking to the community. If you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com. Provide a review on iTunes. Check out our TikTok. Go follow our YouTube channel. And again, review us on iTunes, Spotify, or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks for listening. GG, Joel.
Good game.
GG, Alec.
GG.
Drink Poggers. Use our code GOODGAME at checkout. Good night, everybody.